Hello, everyone, and welcome to your second snap take of the day. We have the return of Sanctum Showdown, and that is both good news and really bad news. I'm going to tell you all about why during this video, along with giving you the very best decks to play. There is still a free card here, and we've got the best decks to get you to that card fast. Let's get started. What you're going to find here. First, we're going to give you a refresher for what Sanctum Showdown is, what it looks like. And it's going to run from 6:26 today to 7:3. We've got tips for the mode, some ways to win, some things to think about. We're going to look at the ban list. We've got the best Sanctum decks from both top players and stats from last time with the new ban list in mind, so I altered them to be updated for the new ban list. We're going to look at the rewards, and I'm going to give you a little rant at that point. There's something about them that really bothers me. And we're going to take a look at the new card, Astral Projection, and I got a top player to make us two really cool decks for it. So that's what today's video is going to be. But before we get to that, if you're willing to, please hit that sub button, like, and comment. Would really help our channel out if you're willing to do so. We are also doing a giant streamabration subathon this Saturday. We're going to do the potential 24-hour stream. I'm moving away, and I could really use the community's help and support in getting there. We'll be live with tons of giveaways and up to a 24-hour stream this Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/PulseGlazer if you want to hang out. Enough preamble. Here's how Sanctum works. So energy works just like regular Snap, but you get a point for each location you're winning at the end of each turn. So if you're winning one key location on turn 1, you get 1 extra cube. After from turn 4 on, there's a special Sanctum location. The winner of that location gets 4 points. Cool. So all of a sudden, the other locations are still worth 1 point, but that one special location, you don't know what it's going to be. It's going to change every turn. It's going to be 4 points. Snaps start on turn 4 and add a point for only that turn to the Sanctum location. So if you think you're going to win that location, you basically always want to snap and say, okay, I'm going to get 5 points for that location win instead of 4. The first person to 16 points in one of these locations wins. Sorry, and 16 points in the whole game wins, which means that games can end relatively quickly. But if you get to 16 points, the game is over. Cool. Let's look at the banned cards list. It has changed a lot since last time. We lose Annihilus. So these are going to be like 3 categories. End game effects, things that were OP, and Clog. So Annihilus fits in that Clog category. They don't want Clog. They don't want you to just be unable to play at locations because you got clogged. Captain Marvel ends up fitting in the end game category, right? You can't, if you play Captain Marvel, there is no end game, so she's never going to move, so why bother with her? Cannonball here was an OP last time card. Cannonball was one of the best cards in the mode, one of the top win rates. When you're trying to win a location, Cannonball feels utterly insane. And not only would he win you a Sanctum lane one turn, he could also clog for the next turn. Very strong stuff. Debris is another clog card, clog category. Dracula is an end of game effect. That category is all banned. Galactus is I'm not even sure how Galactus would work with Sanctum mode. It just wouldn't, right? Then it would just be, there would only be one location left, everything falls apart. Can't have Galactus. Green Goblin and Hobgoblin are more clog cards, no clog. Juggernaut is the second of the OP last time cards. If you're trying to win a location, especially around turn 3, Juggernaut just sort of guarantees you that location in a very unfun way, especially with priority, because there's a lot of Guardians-y stuff. Invisible Woman is an end of game thing, no end of game things. Kang doesn't even make sense here. Again, you can't just rewind the turns. The whole point of the mode is to have to try and win that location. No Kangs. Mbaku is an end of game thing. Doesn't work. Magic adds a 7th turn. There are no, the turn number doesn't matter. It's not how you win a game. 16 points. Makari was another incredibly powerful card. She was amazing tempo in this mode. Has to go. Malekith, end of game trigger. Martyr, pure upside, end of game trigger. Mysterio, end of game trigger. Negasonic is the next of the completely insane cards. Once you got Prio, Negasonic, opponents would have to play one big thing to try and win a lane, and Negasonic stopped that. So Negasonic and Juggernaut and Cannonball are all the lane winners that are gone, and Makari is just too much free power. Quake is insane. Quake is, I guess, her own category here. I didn't see a lot of Quake. I don't remember if Quake was banned last time, but the idea that you could just be oh, well, that's not the Sanctum location anymore. The Sanctum location is this one that I'm winning is a little silly. Rocket and Groot is the next of the completely OP cards. You always know what Sanctum's going to be, so if you play Rocket and Groot with Prio, you're going to get 3 or 4 triggers every time, and then you're going to be able to move it and do it again, which is wild. Scream was completely insane. It was the best deck, and even during the last Sanctum got banned. Storm, we can't just shut down locations. That's ridiculous. Although, I guess we can Professor X, which is interesting. Supergiant's an end of game trigger, and Viper is a clog card. So that is the banned list, and hopefully I didn't mess it up for any of our decks. Our tips. First tip is do not retreat. You get points for every lane you win, even if you're going to lose all the lanes. Try and be kind to each other and give extra points to people. We're all building up toward getting the same free card, so make sure that you're doing it that way. Prio is whoever has more charms in that game at that time. Whoever's ahead at more locations, has more points at that time, that is who gets priority. You generally want priority. Alioth isn't banned, but Cannonball, Negasonic, and so on are. Priority is generally better. People will run Shang-Chi, but that's like kind of the old, or Enchantress if it's ongoing. That's kind of really the only punish here for having Prio. Meanwhile, by having Prio, you get to just sort of control the tempo of the game. Guardians are absolutely amazing overall. If you're stuck on what to do, you know people are going to play at specific locations, which means Guardians are some of the best stats in the game. If you're like a Shuri Scar player, or Shuri Red Skull or a Scar Surtur player, play Guardians. They're the stats deck in this mode. Getting clogged is real, and I don't mean like clog cards. I mean like you just have to put cards in locations, right? So cards that move or move others are great. Ghost Spider, Doctor Strange, Jeff, so on are all very, very good. And if you're close to a location, snap and end the game. Snap and make sure everyone gets extra charms as much as humanly possible. On to our first deck. So the simplest deck to play in this mode is Zoo. This was one of the top win rate decks in a large sample size last time we had this mode. There is exactly one card, I'm not sure if it still belongs here, that's Sam Wilson. Sam was here because it gave you a 1-drop that worked with Marvel Boy and was buffed by Khazar. It doesn't do either of those things anymore. The last time this happened was February 20th, 2025, but the deck is still legal and was good enough. Like, Sam wasn't why it was good, it was just an extra way to make it good, so I still expect this deck to be really good. This is the classic Zoo, for which you need Gilgamesh, Mockingbird, and Marvel Boy. Call Obsidian is great, but can be Stegron. Sam Wilson can be Kate Bishop or Surge. I plan to start with Kate. Hydra Bob can be Nightcrawler, Captain America, or Echo. Again, your general goal here is that like everything scales upward, so you have early plays to put pressure on the board and gain points early, and then you can scale those points upward late game with cards like Blue Marvel, and you can even go over the top with Gilgamesh or use free Mockingbird to steal cubes. Everything about this works really well. Do be careful of clogging yourself with cards like Shauna and Squirrel Girl, but if you're playing that, this is sort of like an aggressive version, right? If this mode, this would be like the pure red in Magic terms version for this, but it does work very effectively. Next up, we've got the Sanctum Guardians. This is one of the decks I played the most last time. It's basically a Guardians of the Galaxy deck that runs Werewolf by Night. Guardians are all on fields, so they'll move Werewolf. Werewolf moving is an extra 2, 4, 6, 8 power every time you play a card there, which is really great. That Werewolf moving gives you access to a Miles Morales, which is a 1/6. Stegron will also give you access to a Miles Morales. So will Grandmaster. Grandmaster, being able to get an extra trigger on one of your Guardians is really great. For a big surprise power, you get that extra power buff that way. And then outside of that, like Vision can move to get power, like she can be played to win a location, then move to another location to win. And Nebula just gets really solidly big. You play Nebula early, and then like the opponents are only really playing at the Sanctum location, so when the Nebula Sanctum location turns up, she's already pretty big. Surge gives you a little bit extra energy. Playing any of these cards ahead of Curve, since they're so big in and of themselves, is really nice. This deck doesn't need anything, but Werewolf is, in my opinion, the best non-Guardian card in this mode. Werewolf by Night's ability to basically be in whatever lane you want him to is going to be incredible. I think that's going to work really well, particularly with Merlin, who can help you prevent Clog, but I didn't think Merlin was right for this deck. I do think, however, that Werewolf is going to be incredible. Surge can be Merlin if you want to try that Merlin here. Grandmaster can be Jeff or Nightcrawler, but really what I think I would make Grandmaster is just Star-Lord. Star-Lord was always really good in this mode, at least in my opinion. So I do like this deck an awful lot. This is one of the places I personally plan to start when I end up streaming this mode. Very likely to be tomorrow during the day. Sorry, tiny little fly in this apartment that's driving me crazy. All right, next up, we've got Fudge's Sanctum Zoo. This one combines the Guardians and the Zoo. This is what I played to get my cards last time at the end of the day. I used mostly this deck for wins. This just says, okay, the Guardians are really good and the Zoo is really good. Why don't I just jam them together? That's the entire concept here. Fudge created this, the Great Elephant Fudge. It is very, very simple to play and very powerful. You do need Gilgamesh and Mockingbird. Sam, Kate can be Surge, Iron Patriot, and Nightcrawler. If you wanted to throw Fenris Wolf in here, I guess you could. I don't think I would. And I'm not sure, again, if Sam is totally right without the Khazar synergy, but It still makes Mockingbird cheaper. It's still movable power. When you don't see Sam, the clog is more annoying. I don't know. I don't know if Sam is still really good in this mode. He used to be great. But Surge, Iron Patriot, Nightcrawler are all acceptable replacements for that powerful deck. Next up, we're going to go over two Afflict decks. First, we got the Cougar Afflict deck. I'm not sure if Hazmat is the card we want, but players tend to play a lot of cards in this mode. So if you can Hazmat around turn 3 or turn 4, you should have a Giant Ajax, a Free Abomination, Lofty, etc. to drop. This deck is also a deck that natively runs Werewolf, so it should be very powerful that way. Wasp has the extra ability to freely get your werewolf into a location while also afflicting opponents. Everything about this deck should work if we have enough early play. I am worried about that early play, and Hazmat in particular, so I'm not sure this works, but earlier versions of this deck were effective last Sanctum, so I'm curious about this one too. You can find Cougar, the creator of this archetype, the whole archetype, the Ajax Evo list is Cougars, at Twitch.tv/Cougar, double the O, triple the R. This needs Werewolf, Luffy, Ajax, and Evo. Sable can be Rocket Raccoon, Kate, Merlin, and even Hazmat can be Cassandra, Man-Thing, Scorpion. Remember that Hazmat's a card that you want to try and hit as much as possible with, right, for the cheap Abomination. It might be easier to just go with more smaller Affliction. That's what we sort of have to determine for this deck, and we'll get back to you with as soon as we test. Can't test the mode since it's coming out literally as this video is releasing. Next up, we have the Ajax that was really good last time. This is a more classic Ajax. It doesn't do any silly evolutionary stuff. It just says, I put up points. I've got Luffy and Man-Thing and Scorpion in order to get that Affliction. If you play a couple of Afflicts in one lane, I've got Diamondback, or if I can drop it in a Luffy lane, I've got Diamondback, who's suddenly going to be completely huge, and everyone's running all these cheap cards. So Man-Thing and Luffy are super huge. Ajax is super huge. This one won a ton last time we had this mode. Cassandra and Scorpion can basically hit the opponent's whole deck, meaning that everything you do, they're going to be playing at such a severe disadvantage that it's much, much easier to win. Grandmaster is like a great surprise card here, especially hitting Luffy or Gladiator for extra power in a lane unexpectedly. Just really chef's kiss for this one from way back when. This deck is slightly different than last time. I added something or other for Rocket Group, because Rocket Group was in the original version. So this needs Ajax, Diamondback, Man-Thing, and Luffy. Sable can be Rocket or Zeppu. Grandmaster can be US Agent, Surge, or Psylocke, and Cassandra Nova can be the Hazmat. Alright, next up we've got Move. Move was another one that was really great last time. It did run Cannonball and Juggernaut last time, so those two cards had to go. Instead, I went Gamora and Fanfei. They made a lot of sense to me. As Gamora is just, you want one big card that you can just play as a big card without any stress. And Fanfei just says, oh, I had to play I had to play my Vulture out early, I had to play my Torch out early, and I couldn't just, I needed the power early in the game, and now I just need a way to move them. I don't see them on a web. Fanfei is a decent amount of power at 4/7 that can also chuck your things into another location, basically guaranteeing you a win if it hits one of your bigger cards. This list is a little technical for this mode, but it puts up just so many points. This loses some points early, and then it just shuts the opponent out later, as all of a sudden you're dropping 40 power cards into lanes, and your opponent just can't do anything about it. Really cool deck. Safety Blade and Lauren Madevs created the original version of this from last one, and I just tweaked it. The only card I'm not really sure about here, by the way, is Cloak. There was a third card I had to cut, probably Rocket Groot. But I decided to try Cloak. Cloak lets your opponent move cards too. I think I'm willing to do that because when I move my cards, I win the game. And when they move their cards, nothing special happens. So Aranya or Madame Web are needed. Fanfei and Cull can be Stegron and Shang-Chi. The Scar deck is nice and simple. So my problem with the Scar deck in this mode is that Guardians tends to put up more power early, and they can just outscale you. However, if this deck can get rolling, it just gets so tall that the opponent can't go over it. Surtur just gets really big and frustrating. You can play Surtur as a 3/5 on 3 to try and win a Sanctum location, and then he just sort of scales with the rest of your gameplay until you win the game later on. This deck needs Scar, Surtur, Ares, and Cull. Iron Patriot can be Surge, Sam, and Shadow King. I would be partial to starting with Surge in this deck. This deck is just about drop big stuff, protect big stuff. Just quick note, I added Quicksilver for Sam Wilson. Sam was in these decks for Cull Obsidian when the shield cost 1. Now we need a 1-drop to play, so we've got Quicksilver as a 1-drop for Cull Obsidian in this particular list. Everything else here should be fairly self-explanatory. You drop more points than the opponent. If you can survive the early turns, you can drop enough late power that the opponent should just basically be shut out. Not My Dance created Agamotto. This is the other deck I really liked last Sanctum. Agamotto was relatively new around this, and it just sort of rocked, right? Agamotto ended up proving really good in Sanctum, for the extra energy, but the Winds of Watum is amazing. Being able to just use an extra energy to draw Agamotto is amazing. And now all that stuff can also like help your werewolf. You can draw that stuff with King Eitri. You can use it to draw two with Nico. You can run Merlin for some extra power. This one seems really good. This deck might actually want Nick Scratch, come to think of it. But yeah, we have a lot of cards. We have Wiccan so that we can do all the nonsense we want. We have Luna and Fastos, and even Merlin spells so that we can do all the crap we want. I'm very excited to try Merlin in this mode as part of the reason this is here, and I think this is going to be like the best Merlin home because it's just so good for Werewolf. Fastos also scaling things up, Wiccan with extra energy. I love, love, love this list. I'm so excited to play this in Sanctum. I like part of me is considering blowing off Sanctum, and then I remember that I can play this list, and it's like, no, I guess I have to. All right, so the creator of this list is on twitch.tv/notmydance. I don't know whose dance it is, but it's not mine. This needs Agamotto, Werewolf, Wiccan, and Eitri. Nico can be Nightcrawler, Surge can be Psylocke, Merlin or Kate, you need one, the other can be Penny. Fastos can be Groot, and Luna can be Jennifer Kale. Luna's better, but it can be. Good cards, move. This is the sort of move your other cards around to gain power deck. This one I'm not 1,000% sure is good, but I think so if I can just move a shield to a location or move whatever to a location, have a Batrock run there, I feel like I'm reasonably likely to win. This one does run Werewolf. I don't know if it should. It's not running a ton of on reveals. It's running like 3 or 4, but it has ways to clog and unclog. It's sort of a mix between the Captain America, Kraven, Hydra Stomper, Silk stuff, and the Guardian stuff that's so good in this mode. Silk was amazing the last time we had this mode, and this is sort of a descendant of Silk that runs the powerful Guardians package, and I think it can be really good. Werewolf, Stomper, Sam, and Batrock are all needed, unfortunately. If you want to see Den's article with his own decks on this, please check out MarvelSnapZone.com, where he's the lead writer and one of my great friends in the community. Finally, we're going to finish up with an Arishem Sanctum list. On turn 3, you get extra energy. You're then ahead on energy for the rest of the game. That seems really good. They also, for some reason, didn't ban Loki. I think they might have to end up banning Loki, and this is the only place I can think of to really run Loki in this mode, although I guess we could run like a smaller Galactus-style deck with it. The logic here is you sort of can play whatever you draw, but if you can get like cards like Valentina early, you can suddenly have a lane-winning thing on turn 3 that you can snap on. Iron Patriot, if you can win that on turn 3 by playing an Ares or a Galacta, right now you've got a super cheap card that can win. Quinjet makes all your extra stuff cheaper. Loki gives you all their cards, their deck that's all good stuff in Guardians, but cheaper. This just seems like a really, really no-brainer to me as one of the places to go. I doubt I'll ever play this. I don't really enjoy Arishem, but I do think that this is an extraordinarily strong place to go if you're looking for a powerful deck. You need Arishem, Mockingbird, and Galacta for this. Goliath can be Blob or Magneto. Loki can be Drax. Valentina and Iron Patriot can be Mirage and Cable. I don't know if I'd play this without Valentina and Iron Patriot. I think a lot of the benefit is playing them into a 4-drop, but hey, you can do you. Blob is really, really underrated in this mode, by the way. Consider Blob if you're running Goliath. That's it. Let's talk about the shop. So, you can get the new Astral Projection Series 4 from the mode by saving scrolls. This card is obtainable for free without too much of a grind in the mode. If you get to the Sorcerer rank, you will have enough scrolls to get Astral Projection if you save up to that point. The second to top rank, not the top rank. You can also get a whole bunch of other stuff. And a reminder, you don't need to win the game to get the currency, but winning does give you your scrolls back to allow you to play more. So you do need to win to get extra play, but you don't need to win in order to gain the currency for the shop. However, grant time. Last time we had Sanctum, we got 3 new Series 4 cards, and then we could buy 4 unowned Series 4 and 5 cards. And that's all just gone from this shop. It's just 1 card, Astral Projection, which isn't honestly an exciting card. They had this new economy where they have snap packs where we can buy snap packs and do all these cool things with snap packs, and then they're not giving them to us anywhere. This is a ridiculous ripoff. This just cements my decision to fundamentally boycott spending outside of the season pass in Marvel Snap. That they've always been inconsistently generous, but this is 2 or 3 instances in a row where they were actively ungenerous in a way that I find really frustrating for the community, and I am very, very disappointed with this decision to remove all the rewards that I would want to grind for from the shop. And I have every card, so it's not really about me, right? But I know card acquisition. I want people to be able to play the damn decks, and having cool ways, interesting ways to get people to do so is great, and that's not in the mode is extraordinarily frustrating. I absolutely hate it, and I think that this is a huge mistake, and I am once more continuing my boycott until they make some changes. All right, so here's what's actually announced for the shop. I'm not going to go over the charms. You can get the new Series 4 card, that is the Astral Projection, 7 scrolls for 200 gold. Premium Mystery variant is probably decent. I might get a couple of those. The Collector emote, sure, great. Doctor Strange variant and Captain America variant, I will probably be grabbing those because, again, why the hell not? And then you can get borders and credits at various values. I don't know. I'm fairly likely to just buy the Astral Projection so I can test it out and then ignore it. Like, I have gold, right? So, like, I have plenty of gold. I'm a content creator, and they give us 2,000 gold every month. So I have gold. I might just get the Astral Projection and then, like, sort of blow off the mode. I don't know. I like Sanctum enough that maybe I'll play it a little. We'll see how much I like the variants. This is a disappointing shop. I thought we would be able to at least buy some Series 4 and 5 cards, one or two, if we were willing to really grind the mode, and we're not, which is, like, again, really, really upsetting and depressing, and I wish they were doing better. All right, the card that they're giving us this time is our first in-deck skill. This is a skill that is not generated. You just put it in your deck as a card. On reveal, copy the text of an on-reveal card in your hand. It'll work with Nicholas Scratch, by the way. It'll be cheaper by Quinjet, so on and so forth. So it's a decent little card. I was really struggling with what to do with it, so I messaged my friend Safety Blade, one of the top players in the game. I was like, what do you think? And he sent me 2 different decks that are sort of on-reveal decks. First, we have this version where Astral Projection can turn into numerous good cards. Hitting Surge isn't ideal, but you're probably playing it late enough that shouldn't be a problem. Oh, you should be able to Astral Projection on Wong. Seems really cool. But hitting Esme and getting a 3-4 out of it's good. White Tiger and Doom seem good. You don't want to hit Sage, but you have to run Sage here. I think Astral Projection is likely to be a pretty damn solid card in this list. Again, Sage is our bad hit, right? But I'm kind of happy to hit Esme, Doom, or White Tiger, and I know what's in my hand when I play this. I'm pretty happy to hit Odin, right? Let's say I have a last turn where I went Wong into White Tiger, and I have Odin in hand. I can then Astral Projection on that Wong and play my Sage, which is pretty damn cool. I think that this is going to be good. This is, if there's not a lot of Cosmo, this is a really, really strong list. But even better is this other version of the deck, where we're doing things with the Dao Mandala and Astral Projection. I don't actually want to play the ancient one, so I could take the Dao that way. But honestly, what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm going to be trying to hit White Tiger and Odin again with this. Again, I'm not sad to hit Esme, or even Ironheart. Like, it's perfectly fine to hit all these cards. Yeah, this one should work totally fine as well. We're not doing as much Doom stuff, so we're not prone to board space issues, but we should still be able to put up a massive amount of power and win a lot of games in that way. Again, we can hit Surge, Ironheart, Esme, White Tiger, and Odin just fine. We don't really want to hit Ancient One. We don't really want to hit Sage, but anything else we hit is pretty damn solid, and that's fundamentally how this card is going to play. I'm not sure if it's right for this deck, quote-unquote right for this deck, but you see Ravonna in both. That means it's a 2-cost card, and it is significantly better, which, you know, has a lot of value. Same thing for the Dao Mandala, right? It's a 2-cost card, and all of a sudden it's actually really good. So that's what we're trying to do with this. I think that Astral Projection is likely to be a fairly mid card, but if it's got a good home, it's likely to be in a deck that looks like these two. I will be testing these literally the instant I have the card. That's it for today's video, or today's second video. Please check out patreon.com/snapjudgments. There will be an OTA later before we actually get to the Patreon stuff. There will be an OTA later. We're not going to do a third video today. Instead, stop by twitch.tv/PulseGlazer tonight, where I will have great guests Ika and Perry Manilow talking about the OTA and all the huge Marvel Snap news of the week. So if you want to stop by, please do so. Thank you to Bricks2Click, our patron of the month until Saturday. Abigail Keeson, Mandatory Burnout, It Regardless, LAB, Inc., I am Frostman, Hota, Neverente, Prime Brian, Ryan Burke, Orion Wood Snap, Renwrench, Caretixley, Koire, Kazushi, Archangel 3K, Black Dahlia, Profros, The Goat Seeker Code, Hallowed, Only Fox, Synth, Batnick, Absolute Shannon, Nightmare, Dirty Casual, Mr. Kerfuffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philly, Philip Brakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, The Beza, Black Jeebus 23, Express V, and Skippy G, Jessica Campbell, Mr. Slushdeath, The King of Bros, Kev Hoda. Nope, Kev Gone. Kev is much lower now. King of Bros, Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Steve0131, Kev sorry Kev, hi, Clam, Colonel Forbin, Rob Zubin, David Wingfield, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B., Mr. Craig Starry, Matt B., Corey, Corwin, Trunk U, and Jim McHugh, Yistap, ACH, One Big Man, Lookman for Reels, Cactus Jack, Reapser, Yo Marco, Ted Bro, Quid Pro Joe, Dick Stepsis Joe, Dick Carlo, Models Map Supreme, Biggity Boom Bot, Green Goblin, Unibot V2, Flan 56, The Fuzzy, nope, Fuzzy Donald gone, Spectrumix, Hoot, Ocularis, Matt H, TJ Mike Hijinks, No Frickin' Flex, Nick and the Greek, Geeky, Toxic Soul King, Zodrex, the King of Canada, JJ, Deadman Falcon, Newman, Father Newman, Jonesy Snapped, Two Ties, The Great Lord Evs, The Parking Tucker Under Pores, Gunny T, the T Sworns for Toodles. That's it. I'll see you tonight for the podcast, which we'll record and then get up on the channel. I should have top 10 decks after the OTA later. This one's going to be a big one, so get yourselves ready, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow for some more Snap Take. Peace.